Hello everyone. So our topic of discussion for today is the determinants of verbal learning. So we're going to touch upon these four very important determinants of verbal learning. So to begin with, let us understand that the most important determinants are the different features of verbal material that needs to be learned. Amongst them, we do have number one, the length of the list that needs to be learned, and of course, the meaningfulness of the material. Now, this meaningfulness of the material can be actually interpreted as, of course, number one, the number of associations that are being elicited at a fixed time. How familiar are you with the words? How much are these words known to you? Thirdly, it's also about, the frequency of usage. How often are you using these words? What is the relation among these words, in the given list? And of course, very important is the sequential dependence, of these words, you know, which are given, in the list, of course, on the preceding words. So here the preceding words are but the stimuli. The stimuli acts as the preceding word, and whatever the word comes after that is nothing but your response. So definitely these preceding words, they are defining the sequential dependence. What sort of sequence is being formed in the given list? And definitely what kind of response are you making to the given stimuli? So the sequential dependence, is very, very important, which is, of course, of each of these words, on the preceding words. Definitely that sequential dependence is going to be there. Another important feature here is about the learning time. So the learning time essentially, is going to increase with the increase in the length of the list. So definitely, the more time one takes to learn the list, the stronger is going to be the learning. And psychologists had come up with this very important principle here, which is actually the total time principle. And this particular principle states that a fixed amount is very, very important. It's quite necessary to actually learn a fixed amount of material. So a fixed amount of time is very important to learn a fixed amount of material. It does not matter how many trials are you're actually giving to it, but definitely whatever you're learning, a fixed amount of time needs to be given to that. you know and one is, of course, you're giving a fixed amount of time and you're giving it to a fixed amount of material as well. you know so the more time it takes to learn something, the stronger the learning is going to be, definitely. So hence prove that the learning time is going to increase with the increase in the length of the list. Then, of course, coming to especially the free recall, you know, um, at the time of free recall, verbal learning actually becomes very, very organizational. Now, what is this term organizational? It actually means that during the time of free recall, the participants are absolutely free to, in a way, recall the words, not in a particular sequence or order, but they can just recall it in any random order, you know. But what's important to understand here is that when they recall, a new order or sequence is formed by the individual, and this concept was actually very well demonstrated by Bosfield, and he had actually made a list of around 60 words. And these 60 words, they were bifurcated in four different categories, and each of these categories had 15 words each. So, in all, they were 60 words, but 15 words were pertaining to a particular category only. So of course, then how we have 15 into 4, that makes a total of 60. So some of the semantic categories were like, animals, names, professions, vegetables, and so these words were actually presented, to the participants one by one in a very, very random order. and the participants had to basically make a very very free recall of these words. So what was found was that they did recall these words, of each of the category together. So they basically categorize these words, under every category, and under that category, they were actually recalling it in a very free manner, in a very random manner. So they recalled the words of each category together. So this was something that came to be known as the category clustering. You know, the words were presented randomly. The participants organized them category wise in the recall. So, category clustering occurred because of the nature of the list, you know. And if we come to see this free recall is always very subjective, it's organized very subjectively. So it actually means that the participants they do organize the words or items in their own individual way, and they recall it accordingly. So basically, yes, these 60 words that were presented by Bosfield, they were categorized in four different categories, and each of the categories had 15 words. And all these 60 words were presented in a very, very random way. But how the individual had put these words, category wise, maybe they probably couldn't have remembered the sequence. They couldn't have actually been able to recall it in the same order as presented. It could have been jumbled, but yes, it was found that they did recall it, you know category wise. So they actually came up with the, you can say, all the various animals, and they started putting that into one category, and then they started talking about all the various vegetables. So that is how they were able to recall it. So this was nothing but category clustering, that was very well demonstrated by Bosfield, and it made very very clear that how even at the time of free recall, definitely the individual does recall it and comes up with a new sequence, with a new order of his own, and that is what is subjective organization, very very subjective in nature, very very personal, very individual to the concerned person, and they do recall it accordingly. So then, of course, coming to verbal learning, that verbal learning, of course, coming to the last point, that yes, it is very intentional, but also we can say that it can be incidental, form of learning also. So when we talk about intentional form of learning, definitely it is a form of learning that is going to be motivated by your own intentions. It's a very, very goal directed form of learning. And the learner, in case of intentional learning, is going to invest or put in a lot of effort, you know, and is going to also make use of learning strategies, because it's quite intentional, it's quite goal oriented, it's coming through means of motivation, but when we talk about incidental form of learning, which verbal learning is, because verbal learning essentially is usually intentional, but it can also be incidental, you know so in case of incidental learning, learning is something which is very very unplanned, and it's very unintended, and this form of learning can develop while, you're engaging in a task or any kind of activity, so for instance, maybe some examples of incidental learning can be like, how participants can notice features like whether two words are rhyming or not, and maybe they can actually come up with those words that have similar letters, and so basically you're not putting that extra effort, or you're uh, not intended to, or basically it's not a planned form of learning, but very, very unplanned, very unintentional, very incidental, and that is how people do it, and but of course intentional definitely comes through motivation. Definitely it is where you are going to put in some amount of effort. They're going to be learning strategies also, because you want to give your very best. But incidental, it's very, very unplanned, and that's how you do it. And so basically, this was all about, the determinants of verbal learning. And these are the four most important, determinants of verbal learning. So with this we come to an end. Thank you so much.